Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and today I have Dr. Tiffany Oloke. Thank you so much for being here today, for being willing to share your journey and your story. And yes, thank you so much. If you can introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get started on childhood back home.
Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, wherever you're joining from. Good day, I would say. So I am Dr. Tiffany Oloke, and it's amazing to be here today. So originally a Nigerian born. I was born in Nigeria. Few years. I'm very young. Few years back.
Yes.
Just few years back, born and bred Nigerian, into a family of 6 girls, all girls. And
Yes.
yeah, my journey has been an amazing one. And currently, I live in the United States, and I work here. I have my family and blessed children right here. And it's been an amazing journey. I do so many things. I'm a podcaster, a public speaker.
Yes.
Just tell me what I don't do. Um, Just tell me what I don't do. I'm an adjunct professor as well for few universities here in the New York area. I also work 9 to 5 in supply chain in a pharmaceutical company. And just to summarize eye level, if we want to really break it down, it's gonna be a lot, but we're
Yeah.
gonna keep it single up. Proud mom of 2 kids, one 17 and the other one 22. And
Oh
most
my goodness. You do do a lot. You do a lot of good work though. And I'm so glad that we were connected, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, how we were connected. But yeah, so tell us, okay, Nigeria, 6 girls. Okay. Tell me all the things. All the things.
Let me tell you the Nigerian 6 girls. So my mom and my dad lived in UK, part of their life where they studied and live in UK.
Mhm.
So we're all girls. They relocated back to Nigeria. They had me. And it's weird in a culture where probably used to be, and we still have some lineage that say that a female child is not really a child kind of culture.
Yeah.
So for my parents, it was really different. It was difficult, especially my dad, being the first son of the family and having
Ooh.
all exactly. Now you said, oh,
Oh.
the first
Yeah.
son from a polygamous home
Mhm.
that does not have a male child, and in a culture where the male child is the actual child, it was tough for my dad. And it's when we're talking about culture, right? Norms and values. That is one of the Nigerian culture at that time, that a female child is always going to marry, they're
Mhm.
going to need education. All they have to learn to do is cooking and taking care of the house. So for him, it was tough. But I think education played a role. His
Mhm.
relationship with Christ played a role. That you know
Mhm.
what, my father was a polygamist. I'm not gonna be a polygamy. I'm not gonna marry a second wife because I want a male child. And
Wow.
when my father was raising us, he raised us as sons. And he didn't even intentionally do that. All he will say is, what a male child can do, my female kids can do better.
Ooh.
And he taught us every single thing. He made us feel like champions. He made us feel that we didn't have to be male kids
Mhm.
able to function. And he taught us everything that any typical Nigerian family will teach a male child. And growing up, we became very strong. It taught us how to iron, male pants, how to do wash the car. Even though we had drivers, we had housemates, he will say that I'm gonna teach you how to do those things so that
Wow.
eventually when you enter into the world, there is no separation whether you're a male or a female. So that journey
Wow.
was quite tough a little bit. And but for my mom, she really enjoyed that soulmate kind of relationship with my dad, saying that even though I don't have male kids for you, but I still feel good that you support me and you love my female children. And here we are. The first one it's into IT. She's actually a cybersecurity expert.
Wow.
Second one is an epidemiologist. I am here as a professor of international economics and global business doing greatly well, glory to God. And the
Amen.
fourth one, a business tycoon. The fifth one, doing well. So I guess my dad is looking back now and saying, "Whoo, I have."
Yeah. Where are your parents and where are your sisters?
So my parents shuttle between UK and Nigeria right now, but they're getting older and they want to really settle back home in
Mhm.
Nigeria.
Okay.
Most of my siblings are in UK. I'm the only one here in the United States, and I have others living in Nigeria right now.
Okay.
My parents are growing younger and aging well, like I like to say.
Aw. Yeah.
But it's a good thing. Right now, when we go back memory lane with them and they tell us how we grew up and where we find ourselves right now, I'm very sure it's a pleasure to them and it brings them great joy.
You should write a book.
Oh, no, but a lot of people have been telling me, I'm thinking, to be honest with you, I'm planning a memo. A
Yes.
lot of people Heidi, I have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
And I think a memo will surface very soon. I'm thinking about it, I'm planning it. Uh,
Mm.
the journey of my life, not only as an immigrant,
Yeah.
as a female,
Yes.
someone that thrived
Mhm.
through the fires and the waters of this world and
Yeah.
standing by the
Yep.
grace of God.
Amen. Yeah.
It's a story that I think even if I start a memo, I'm gonna do chapter book 1, book 2, book 3,
Probably. Yes.
book 4. Yeah.
Did you live in the UK for a little bit?
I did not live in the UK fully, except for
Okay.
visit. This has always United States has always been my place. Um,
Mm.
most times I feel UK is home. That's where I
Mhm.
have, we have a family house. My siblings are there, my nephews,
Yeah.
my nieces. I don't have anybody here that is immediate family like a sibling.
Mhm.
So anytime I go, I call UK home. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Like that. In as much as United States is home for me, but
Yeah.
to know that if I go to UK, I'm seeing 95.5%
Of
of
the family. Yeah.
I call it going home too. So, and to be honest with you, I'm very close with British Airways. I'm jumping out. I just jump out. I miss UK. I miss my siblings. I'm jumping out. And especially when my parents were fully residing for a long time,
Yeah.
I just miss them. And I just
Yeah.
want to go and see them. At times I go to work on Friday and I pack my overnight bag and I just find myself in UK. Then Monday morning I'm back. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That
Yeah.
sounds like when we used to live in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we had family in New York. And so same thing, like people would
Yeah.
ask me like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" "We're going to New York." And so I remember a classmate was like, "You say that so casually, like New York is right there."
When
I'm
it's a
like, "It's cuz we go all the time." Like all
when
the
it's
time.
a yeah, when it's a trip for someone else, it's just a walk for you. And that's how
Yeah.
it is to me.
All the time, all the time. Oh my goodness. So, talk to us about coming to the US. So, your family's in Nigeria, UK, but you said you wanted to come to the US. So, tell us about that.
So my journey to the US was a very strange one. It
Mm,
wasn't like really planned. So I graduated from college. And when I graduated from college, one of my sisters was actually living here with her spouse in the United States.
mm,
And he had come up to me one day and said, I just found something that they're looking for a consultant. And this company is looking for a consultant because they're looking for somebody that has economics and business management background. And I think
oh,
when I was reading through the description, you fit into that job. And I said, send me the job. Let me see what exactly it looks like. I applied for this job. To cut the long story short, I got this job. So I got an H-1B
mm,
to come here to the United States. Then I was working with this company and MRG. And immediately I started working with them. My plan was to work and go back home. Initially, when I graduated from college, immediately I left college, I got a job with an
mm.
insurance company and I was working with that insurance company. I had a official car. I was living in the city where my parents were. I was going from home. Just to let you know, when you're a Nigerian, even though you're grown but you're not married, you still live in
Yep. Same thing in the Dominican Republic. You live at home until
you
you
get
are
married.
married. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
they don't understand why you have to rent a house if you're not married. And as a female, you have to be married to leave the house.
Oh, yes.
Started working and I got married and I came to the United States. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do this contract for those few years and definitely go back home. But as God would have it, I stayed here. I was pregnant by the time I came. I had my baby and I decided to stay here. Was it interesting? Was it fun in the beginning? No, it wasn't really fun, but I didn't take that opportunity for granted. Looking
Mm,
I really appreciate that opportunity to be here. It became something very exciting. It became something very good, especially when I was now transitioning academically
yeah,
uh, into my master's program, into my PhD program. And I'm like, this land, the honey and the milk, I'm sucking the honey and the milk of this land. And
yeah,
it was a journey coming here. Do I miss home? Yes, I did miss home. Looking back, I do miss the culture at times, the very
yeah.
good ones in quote. I miss that. The food, oh my God.
Oh, I bet.
I miss the drinks, I miss that. But as I became, familiar with the system here and
Yeah.
everything, it became something very interesting.
Doing this podcast for 3 years, and when this episode release will be almost 4 years now, the answer of people coming when they come for, like, schooling or because of work, the initial attention is usually, "I was gonna come and go back." But then something happens, they get a job or an opport or they fall in love.
Yeah.
Something happens that they end up staying, but originally, the intention is not to stay, it's to do what
Sure.
they need to do and go back to their home country, so I find that very, very interesting, doing this show and talking to so many immigrants, like, the journey and stuff to come to the US. I just because it's never again, it's not what it's painted out, it's but when you really sit down and talk, it's a whole different thing, which I appreciate when people, share. So thank you for sharing that. Talk to us about cultural shocks. What was the first cultural shock that you experienced?
I had so many culture shock. When I just came, one thing that really I saw food wastage.
Yeah, oh my god.
Food wastage bothered me
Yeah.
because it's not as if I came from a home where we were poor. Thank
Yeah.
God. We were
Mhm.
very comfortable. God blessed us. We were doing fine and we're still doing fine to the glory of God. But when I came and I saw my nephews, my sister's kids, they eat like 2 slices of pizza from a pizza box and they carry the remaining and dump it to the garbage. They sit down, bread and butter and drink. They just don't want it anymore because it's cold.
Mhm.
Want it out. I nearly smacked nonsense out. I was like, don't do that. Don't waste food. Some people don't have food because I
Yes.
understand what it is from where I'm coming from. That was number
Yes.
one. The number two thing is mannerism. Where I came from, it's a high level respect from a place where everybody's auntie, uncle. We're
Oh.
not related, but you don't call
So
people.
you guys do that too? Call auntie okay, because I know that's big in Asia, in Asian countries. Yeah.
We do auntie, uncle, even if it's your next door neighbor.
Yeah, for out of respect.
Out of respect, you don't call
Yeah.
people by their first name as long as they are older than you. And I've
Yes.
even seen my parents call people that are younger than them,
Mhm.
yes, sir, yes, ma, yes, yes. There is
Yeah.
this mannerism that comes naturally and
Yeah.
undiluted. So when I came, and I will see my nephews that were 7, that were hit, or their friends call other parents Anthony. Hi, Anthony. I Mike. How was I? Did did she just call him by his first name? Like
Yeah.
somebody else's dad? You can imagine
Mhm.
me calling my dad's friend. Hi,
Mhm.
Michael. I'm like, you something is wrong with you. So that
Yeah.
also gave me that shock. And the third one, which was a positive kind of shock,
Yeah.
is the level of organized living here in the United States.
Oh, yes.
That is a positive kind of shock that I had to see things laid out,
Mhm.
things well organized. Whether
Yep.
you're talking about the operational system of the economy, you're talking about how things are done, the school system. I pick my nephews from school and their friends from school. I see the security level, how things are done. That also gave me a shock,
Yeah.
but a good one,
Yeah.
right? And I started thinking, what is the thought plan and the thought process behind this excellent kind of organization that I'm seeing? And it's amazing. That gave me a good shock. To be honest with you, in Nigeria, it's not as if we don't try, and we're not.
Hmm.
Um, the level here, it's different from what I was used to.
Yeah.
So it gave me a little bit of, you know what, things could be better kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I started inquiring about how this land came to be like that. So I think that was
Mm.
a positive kind of shock for me.
Yeah.
Transparency and openness was quite a shock for me. People just talk about their lifestyle anyhow. Oh, you know what? See, right now I'm pregnant. I'm 2 weeks gone. I'm like, how do you tell people you're pregnant when they can't see it? I'm coming from a culture whereby even when your stomach is protruding, you're still covering it with big clothing. You don't want people to know, not because you're ashamed, but it's a way of protection. We're very
Mm.
emphatic
Mm.
in culture of exposure
Yeah.
as compared to here. Whether they have a toothache, I have a toothache, my surgery's tomorrow. People, the openness was
Yeah.
kind of a shock as well.
I had another guest say that. She was like, I was so shocked at how open women were about talking about their menstrual cycle. Like, that's not something you talk about, but here in the United, she was like, everyone, all the women were just so yeah, I've had that answer before, just the openness and things like that. Cause there's just certain things in certain cultures that you don't talk about, it's kind of private or whatever. But no, here it's free for all.
People. The information is everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The mannerism that you're talking about, I was also thinking too, like, I feel like it also depends on where in the US because I know in southern states, like, southern hospitality, and,
Right.
like, they teach a lot of, for kids to say, "Yes, yes, sir," or "Yes, ma'am," "No, sir," "No, ma'am," kinda respect kinda thing, so but I definitely understand, like, yeah, like like us for the Dominicans, like if you're going to address someone
Right.
elder, we will say what translates to usted, which is like a respect for the
Yes.
elder instead of just saying addressing them as you, which would be tú.
Right.
Yeah, so I definitely understand that. My goodness. Tell us about your podcast.
Ah.
Yeah. What is the name of your podcast? What is it about? And yeah, how did that journey get started?
So I've always known that I had a voice.
Mm.
When and how to use that voice, I didn't know. When I was
Ooh.
younger and I was going into college, I told my parents I wanted to study mass communication. And in my family, and I think it's also the Nigerian culture, especially when you're from a very highly educated home. And back
Yeah.
if you're not a doctor, if you're not a lawyer, if you're not an engineer, if you're not an accountant, if you're not in any of those spaces, as far as they are concerned, you're not educated.
Mhm.
When I came with the mass communication, my dad and my mom was like, definitely you're not talking to us because is it that you're going to be a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, something in that rank. You're not doing any mass communication because you don't really need to go to college to do mass communication. So I decided to go into college. I studied economics and from there, my journey into international business administration and economics, global economics started. Then I still said, I'm very good. Public speaking, you can give me a mic without preparing me for anything. Heidi, I'll be running, I'll be going. If you don't tell me to stop, I'm not gonna stop. And I and I,
Love that.
if you don't give me a bell, I'm gonna keep going. So
Go.
spontaneous speaking, unexpected speaking, tall, giant stages, low stages, 15 people, 300 people is very convenient. Then I said, I have more. How do I share the more? Because I can't be on every platform. My schedule is so, like right now, I'm given this time is because I've been planning. How do I give you this time? And I said, I'm going to go into podcast. And I prayed about it. I just went praying. I said, Lord, is this something you want me to do? And I got the confirmation
Mm.
that the podcast was the way to go. Now, what's the title of this podcast? I didn't know what I was going to speak about. A lot of people were telling me, speak about international business, speak about, I love one topic in economics, the opportunity cost, And I said, it's more than that. I want a podcast that will speak to every age, every demographic group, all genders, all colors, nations across the globe. And I just didn't want any restriction.
Yeah.
And one day I was sitting down and I heard Chronicles. And I said, Chronicles is in the Bible. And that was all. And I checked and I said, the
Mhm.
Chronicles, the pathway. And I love choices because I believe that we all live by the standard of choices that we make.
Yes.
And I
Yep.
said, chronicles of choices, meaning the path to our choices, the impact of our choices, whether we take the right decision or not, we live by those decisions that we
Yes.
currently, I am living by the decisions that I make, whether good one, whether a bad one, whether the one that I can correct and turn around, whether the one that is unchangeable, I cannot reverse the clock. And I said, you know what? This is it. The Chronicles of Choices. And I had the Opojo, Opojo is a Nigerian language meaning this is a lot, meaning the
Mm.
Chronicles of Choices, the part of our choices, it's a lot, yes or no. And in that journey of saying, okay, this is what I want to do, then I met you. Then I met you. Then I met you. And it was just like God just aligned everything and you held my hand and you took me through that path. And the rest is the story. The podcast is doing so well. I've spoken in many people now invite me to talk. Okay, so let me tell you this. So I love to talk about work-life balance. That's my area
Yes.
that
Yeah.
I do a lot in work-life balance. And I speak to people about kindness because my slogan is just be kind. So I talk a
Yes.
little bit more about kindness in some of my presentations and public speaking. And it's amazing how people now refer to my podcast more than they talk about my public speaking and everything.
Mhm.
And when they do the introduction, oh, she has a podcast. She's the owner of the Chronicles of Choices. And imagine,
Yes.
like, don't hype me like that. And to let you know that it's been a journey, the impact of the podcast, I can't even tell you every single story because we won't leave here today. One of the episodes that I did was The Unchosen Family. It was actually a season one. Season one was about the unchosen family. And there was one of the episode in that unchosen family that I spoke about, the unchosen sibling. And you won't believe it, a relationship of 15 years between two siblings that live less than 5 miles from one another. They haven't seen themselves in 15 years. And they live here in the United States, less than 5 miles from one.
Wow.
That relationship was reinstated. And she said she listened to the podcast and she cried all throughout that, you know what,
Aw.
better. She reached out to her sister. They now meet. It's not as good as they want it to be, but at least they are trying. They meet once in a
My
while. They are trying.
God.
I'm telling you, from
Look
just
at God. Yes.
starting to talk to now mending families, it's beyond me. It could only
Yeah.
be God.
Yeah.
One episode that I spoke about, the unchosen X factor, where I was talking about how families, the blended family, you've been
Yes.
divorced, I've been divorced, we come back with our multiple families. You didn't choose the external families, you chose your spouse that you're
Mhm.
referring to, and how to blend your family.
Yeah.
That one also came back with a lot of good feedback. Then there was one about truthfulness. I think that was season 3, episode 2. I spoke about truthfulness and I mentioned just one statement that people are coming back. I said, when you're very truthful, when you're very honest, it impacts your health because you're
It
healthy. Because you can go
yes.
to bed
Yes.
you can go to bed, you can sleep, they wake you up in the middle of your sleep, you're repeating exactly the same thing. You are not having high blood pressure for lying. And I
Mhm.
think that statement, I got a lot of feedback that Tiffany, out of everything you said about truthfulness, that maintaining good health because you are very truthful is
Yeah.
very, very important. So, and I like to thank you. I really like to thank you. You made it happen. God used you to make it happen,
Oh,
and I'm very grateful for that. You held my hand, and it was so funny how open you were, how transparent you were, how you built my expectation in the right way. Because if you had helped me build it in a wrong way, I would have built it. But you were very transparent. You were very honest. You were kind in the process. You were detailed, and you guided me with openness, and you built my expectations in the right way. And
thank you.
so the Chronicles of Choices is now a podcast that I'm taking seriously. And one thing that is helping me take it seriously is the impact that is having in the
Yes.
society. Some of
Yeah.
my son's friends, they listen to it. And because my son will share it, my daughter will share it with her.
Yes.
Yeah, they share with their friends. Oh, my mom was talking about you today. You need
Oh.
my mom
Oh,
actually spoke about you today. You need to listen. So
yeah.
go through any age, any group, any gender, it's really amazing. For the rich, for the poor, for the middle class.
Yeah.
I believe in social economic behaviors that are
Yeah.
right and act.
Yeah, no, it was shout out to Shell. She was the one who connected us, and I'm so glad because we worked together. It's been over a year now. So 2024 was when we worked together, and we've stayed connected. Like I would reach out to you like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you still need anything?" and things
Right,
like that, and we stayed connected, and that's the type of coach that I always said I strive to be, like, honest, open,
right,
setting real expectations, like, "Okay, you may hear this online, but this is what it is," you know,
right.
and I've always been that, and I've always tried to be like, "No gatekeeping, this is, how it is," and it's okay too, like, it's okay, this is just part of the process, so I really enjoyed working with you because you took action and you made it happen.
Oh,
I just told you, you got to do this, and that, but you had to do this or that, to make it happen. And
mhm.
and
And
I
one thing,
love
yeah,
I
one
love going into your podcast and seeing the comments. I'm like, okay, Tiffany, she's good. I don't even get comments on mine.
I'm telling you, the comments keeps me going. And you know what?
Yes.
Also, you gave me breather. You gave me a pace that you were not choking. You were so you gave me good timing. You knew I
Yeah.
was tired, and you would say, "You know what? We don't have to do it today." I'm like, "Oh, hallelujah! She knows."
Yeah. Yeah.
You were present emotionally. Your emotional intelligence is really high, Heidi, and
Oh, thank
you
you.
were working with that emotional intelligence and plus your IQ, and you were like, "Oh, we don't have to do it today." And I'm like, "Yeah, hallelujah." Then you come back the following week, Tiffany, we're doing it next week. Then I get prepared for
Yeah.
that next week. So you were great. I applaud you. You
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad that you shared, about the impact and the comments and everything because a lot of people think that success in podcasting is all about numbers. Oh, how many people are listening, how many downloads, and it's not at all. And one of the things that I share when I am either speaking about podcasting or I'm a guest on other podcasts is like if I put out an episode
right.
and let's say it gets 10 listens, right? But one person reaches out to me and tells me how God spoke to them through that episode or how, something impacted them,
Right.
Am I going to count that episode successful or not?
It's gotta be
I
so. Yeah,
I am. I don't it doesn't matter that it only got 10 listens. That one person
one person.
that it impacted, that's all that matters.
That's
That's
it.
all that matters,
That's one.
Yes. So
I think that analogy is great. It's not about the numbers. To be honest with you, at times Spotify will share with me the analytics saying that, oh my God,
yeah.
the prospect is flying. It doesn't, I'm grateful. Don't get me
Mm.
wrong. I'm thankful that it's skyrocketing. But at the same time, what's the impact?
Yes.
My life is a life of impact. Thinking about how I impact people. And that is why when I see people impacting other people's life negatively, because there's
Mhm.
a positive impact and a negative impact. When I see people impacting other people's life negatively, whether with the words of their mouth
Mhm.
or their actions, or their negative presence, it bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot, and I feel bad when I see that. So when I also see people that impact other people's life with love, with kindness, with good words, let me tell you, in this industry, communication industry that I find myself, like I said in the beginning, when I'm also a compeer, I'm an event planner. I have a company that does event planning and comparing. I do both social and corporate events. I do religious events. I do traditional engagement, which is
Wow.
interracial right now. So with that complexity, right? I've
Mhm.
seen it all.
Yeah.
I've seen people that tell me that you didn't function the way you're supposed to function just because they just didn't want to give you the accolade. They don't want
Yeah.
to give you your rose. And I've seen people, and that number of people doesn't count, to be honest with you. And I see people that said, "What? This is amazing. This is beautiful. But you
Mhm.
know what? If you do this and do that, it's going to be better." You see the science of, well-being in that area. So
Yeah.
a life of impact, nothing compares to that.
Of course, and I'll be honest, like, if we were to determine a successful podcast by numbers,
Yeah.
my podcast would not be successful then. If we were to determine the success by numbers, Imma be 100% honest, my podcast would not count as successful, but regardless of that, people are sending me messages,
Yeah.
the reviews, they're feeling seen, they're feeling valued, they're
Mm,
feeling like I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten messages saying thank you for providing a space for
right,
immigrants to share their story,
right.
and that to me is success. I mean, the podcast has won 2 awards now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is by impact, that is because of impact, so thank you for sharing that, thank you for being so honest and transparent about that because yes, people have a misconception of, like, success in podcasting, but really, like, you have to determine your success, and
Mm,
that's not even with podcasting, that's just in life in general, right? You have to determine what's valuable to you
right.
and what's worthy for you because I'm not motivated by the same things that you're motivated by, but we have to determine our own success. Although we are both believers and we know that success comes from the Lord, but
Yeah,
people need to determine like what is success for you. And for
absolutely.
me, it's always bringing glory back to God. Always bringing glory back to God.
Yes.
Um,
That
everything that this podcast has accomplished, again, I've always said it's always because of him and
yeah.
him alone, his work alone. But thank you for sharing that. And how can people connect with you? And how can they listen to your show?
Okay. So, I have my email address. I have my podcast on. Oh, let's start with the podcast. I have the podcast. Phew, it's a lot. I have the podcast on Spotify. It's called The Chronicles of Choices. It's on YouTube. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Apple. And also my website is tiffanyoloke.com. It's very easy and straightforward. If you go to the website, you will see all the special areas where I function as an event planner, as a compeer, a public speaker. I also have a mentorship program for
Oh,
immigrants. I forgot to mention
ah,
that for you. It's a free program that I offer other young immigrant, female, male, whoever is
wow.
just coming into the country from anywhere in the world, in areas of their academics, in the area of the career they should launch into. I don't tell everybody go for nursing. I would read your reg. I don't do that. I'm gonna look at your resume. I'm gonna ask you questions. I give free mentorship. I also build resumes. I rebuild resume. Remember, resume from Nigeria would have your home address, will have so I culture your
Yeah,
resume to fit here. Connection with jobs. Thank God. All the glory goes back to God. I've had successes in referrals to people that I know. Please help me. I need a job for this person. And just helping young ones that come into this country on how to stand on their feet.
I
It's
love that.
so I have that going on. One thing that I also have on my website is Isaiah 117. Isaiah 117 is also a nonprofit organization that I own. Is for the widow and their children. Just like I recently became a
Wow.
widow. I became a widow 2 years ago, and I know the gaps. that I found in my journey as a widow, the journey of loneliness, the journey of not knowing what to do, what to reach out to, the journey of it's a sudden wall that you find yourself in a cubicle and navigating through that journey was tough. So there are so many informations that I gathered. Trust me, God helped me. I pulled through and I'm still pulling through. And I don't want other widows who find themselves and their children to go through that same, I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
to do. I don't know what to who to reach out to. So I build the resources from my experience, and I have this Isaiah 117 that would guide widows and their children, which is doing fantastically well. Glory to God as well.
Amen.
So it's just an amazing journey. I remember when I was writing my thesis for my dissertation, and my professor, I love my professor, Professor Ali Kiaz. Shout out to you wherever you are. And he told me one day, he said, Tiffany, the dissertation topic you gave me is not going to work. I just
Mm,
don't like that topic for you. And I said,
mm,
why? I wanted to write about nonprofit because I'm so loving nonprofit industry. And I said, I want to write about nonprofit. And he convinced me 100%. He said, Tiffany, you're going to write about immigrants. You're good because I
mm,
know that you're passionate about immigrant. So eventually my dissertation was about the Nigerian female immigrant in business.
mm.
And
Yes.
just yesterday, I was getting notification as people were referring to, because I published the paper
Mm-hmm.
event. And I had a lot of people. I don't know what's going on in the world. People were just referring to they were citing my paper for the past 3 weeks now. And when I look at it, it's been over 100 citation. I don't know who is writing a paper. I don't know what's going on in the world. And the citation is crazy. I had to show it to my daughter. I said, I don't know why people are just seeing this paper. People are citing this paper. Like
Wow.
yesterday, I got almost 10 notification that so I'm very passionate about immigrant. To be honest with you, ID, when I see immigrants thrive
Yeah.
and do well, like I personally, I think I still have more space to do better. But
Yeah.
coming as an immigrant, going back to school, having a PhD, impacting other people's life in the United States and across the
Yeah.
world, I can only ascribe that to the Most
Yeah.
High for what he has
Amen.
done. I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
So reach out to me, tiffanyoloke.com, for any
Yes.
question. Go and check the resources that I have. If any of them is applicable to you, shoot me an email, tfroll@gmail.com.
Yeah, so I will definitely include the links to your podcast and your website in the show notes and show description. You really are doing a lot, Tiffany, but it is
I told
all
you in the
for
beginning.
the glory to God and making impact in so many different lives in so many different ways, but that's what he does, you know? He makes a way, he prepares us, and he puts the people in the path of who we need to help and serve, and yeah, so thank you so much. The last question for the episode is, what does the American dream mean to you?
Oh, that's a very good question. And you just said that I had gross pimples. The American dream for me means a journey of ease, a journey of expectation that was built in a very, very strange and unexpected way. The journey of an American dream for me is a dream of, when you say that you're going next door and you're sitting in your living room, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the next room or next door, and you're wondering, how did I get there?
Yeah. Yes.
That is the journey for me. The American dream, that journey is a journey that I wasn't expecting, that I would take, but I wondered if I expected it, I would have taken it, but I took it at the right time.
Mm,
And the journey, to be honest with you, the American dream journey wasn't smooth. It
mm,
wasn't easy, but the destination is very sweet. Have
mm.
I gotten to the destination yet? No, I still have a lot to do. But the American dream is a good dream. It's a dream that you would dream. And when the reality of that dream comes in, you will be like, if I'm sleeping, I just want to keep sleeping. And
Yeah.
like I said, the journey was not 100% easy, but the landing is quite nice. So I would say to anyone that is probably thinking that is rough as an immigrant, anyone that would say that, it's not a journey I should have taken, I don't believe there should be a regret. It's hard. I had times where that I was like, you know what, I shouldn't have. But at the end of it all, it gets better. It gets better and it gets
Yeah.
better. So take your American dream, journey your journey, be who you are. Hold one thing that I would say: a journey with Christ is easier. A journey with Christ is easier. Without God, I won't be where I am, and I don't think I can get to that destination. So, in the times that it was rough, I saw God lifting me and taking me through. So I believe 100% that with Christ in that journey, it was there was ease. He didn't promise us that it was going to be a smooth journey. He said we would go through all these things, but trust me, you will get to that destination. So I think the American dream with Christ, maybe that's how I'm going to round it up. An American dream and journey with Christ is the best.
That's the best. Oh, thank you. What a perfect way to end this episode. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And yeah, just thank you for everything. Again, I'll include all the links so people
Right.
can connect with you and just thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for having me. Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Mami Podcast.